So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Lindsay Humphreys, and I'm the Program Director for Junior Achievement of New Mexico. You will be attending our virtual career speaker series today, and this program is open to JA students across New Mexico, and we highlight business professionals, entrepreneurs, and innovative thinkers from a variety of industries. And each of our featured speakers, they share details about their education, their job, and their career journey. But before we get started, we always do our virtual meeting etiquette reminders. First things first, I said that this video is recorded. This video will be posted onto our YouTube channel for anyone who was unable to attend the live session. So feel free to send that channel over when you get that link after the presentation is completed. And then at this time, if we could have everyone please type their first and last name into the chat box. And also, if you're an educator or a parent on the call and you have students with you, just let us know how many students are with you as well. And that helps us keep track of our impact. Finally, if you are, remember that all of our mics need to be muted during the speaker's presentation. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to write them down into the chat box, or you can unmute during the Q&A portion of the event. Today, we are so excited to welcome Bahjat Shariff. He is the Chief Operating Officer and Brand Leader for Twisters Burgers and Burritos. Bahjat, I'll share my screen and the floor is yours.
Well, hello, everybody. I am talking to you from Albuquerque. Our office is right on the northeast side of Albuquerque. So thank you all for having me. I am humbled to be asked to speak to all of you. Honestly, it feels like 2 days ago, I was in high school. Time flies, and you just like look back and wonder what have you done all these years. So I'm anxious and excited to share with you my little humble story, and I'm proud of it, and proud of the person who I've become because of my story and because of the experience I have in life. So without further ado, I was born and raised in a very tiny little country the size of the state of Connecticut. In Lebanon, which is in the middle of the Middle East. And I came to go to college in Los Angeles. So I followed a few friends, and that was our goal. So Lindsay, if you want to skip the next slide, please. All right, right here. So I lived most of my young life in Civil War. I did not really know a lot of, peaceful part of the world or life, honestly, and I thought this was pretty cool at the time. So these are funny pictures that made it with me in my suitcase when I moved here. So it's a picture of a picture, but that was, I lived in downtown Beirut, and it's a very big populated city, not during the war, but some of us are friends here. I don't know what we were playing with, but my dad took that picture. I have no clue if we're playing with rocks or we're playing with dirt, no clue. But anyway, it's my beloved city. I born and raised there. I left there when I was 18 years old. And if you can skip to the next one. This is the day I left. This is my dad. I was giving him a hug and a kiss. And this is on the left side is my mom and dad next to me. I'm in the middle, the guy in the red shirt with a big smile. And then my two sisters and my brother. It's funny because, my young brother, we're very, very good friends, obviously, but he's 6 years younger than me, and I can't imagine how young he looked at the time. All right, and my sisters and my mom and dad, they were so young, and I left in 1984 at the age of 18, and I had a lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions to do something big with my life, to get out of the Civil War and come to this famous place called Los Angeles. And it just goes by in a blink of an eye. And I remember, my mom and dad gave me $300 to get on the plane. I had an airline ticket. I had an acceptance to a community college in Los Angeles in a city called Azusa, A-Z-U-S-A. And that was it. And the funniest story of all is when I arrived in LAX, 2 o'clock in the morning, I called my friend to come and pick me up. He said, I don't have a car. You're gonna have to take a taxi. I said, okay, taxi, So I got a taxi. Remember, there's no Uber, all right? There's no app, nothing. So you gotta stand outside, find it, the yellow cabbie, and took me from LAX to Azusa. It's 50 miles. By the time I got to Azusa, he wanted $100. So I was trying to hackle with the guy, like we hackle in Lebanon, right? It's like, okay, how about like $50? He said, well, it's $100 or I call the police. I said, well, here's $100. So, so that's 1/3 of my money gone, just like that. I'm like, this is not working out well for me already, all right? So anyway, it's just a funny story. It was not funny at the time. It's funny now looking back at it, you know, it's a very big step. So let's go to the next slide, please. So I always wanted to be a pilot when I was young. When I was 4 or 5 years old, you know, we lived in Beirut. Every plane flies right over our house. And I really wanted to be a pilot. And that kind of had to be put on hold and to figure out where I'm going to end up and what I'm going to do with my life. So I don't know why I like flying. I thought it was just the most fascinating thing to see a plane, big piece of metal just come off the ground and fly. So I loved it, and I tried to figure out a way to learn how to fly. So next slide. So this is me, actually. So about 15 years ago in Rhode Island, I wanted to be a pilot, and my wife surprised me with a nice gift card to go and take a first 3 flights, all right? So this is after I became a pilot, and you know, honestly, I have to tell you, I was always afraid to fly over water. Rhode Island has a lot of water, a lot of oceans all around us, islands and what have you, all right? And but I love flying, and I enjoy it a lot. And I don't do anything fancy with it. Like, I don't go to big places. I just fly over Rhode Island, Connecticut, New England, over water, etc. And this picture has a story, all right? So we've been trying to coordinate 2 airplanes, photographer, all right? And you need 2 pilots, 1 for each plane, all right? So sometimes I don't think about that, but somebody got to take a picture of you. Got to be a pilot and a photographer on the other plane. Well, plus, guess what? You need a perfect weather. You need a nice blue skies, no rain, no snow, no wind, all right? So we flew this beautiful place in Newport, which is, by the way, behind me is a picture I took of Newport, Rhode Island, right there, all right? You can see it, and it's a nice little island, all right? And well, we didn't know that actually President Obama was in Martha's Vineyard. So now there's air restriction, all right? Because the 30-mile radius goes over Newport, Rhode Island, all right? So here, I'm turning very, very sharp because I cannot cross the bridge. If I cross the bridge, fighter jet will come in and probably give me a very nice speeding ticket, all right? For lack of a better word. So it was a funny story. We pulled it off. We made a big sharp U-turn. We took a picture. I still have the picture. It's a nice thing. One thing about at the age of 40, all right, learning how to fly is you really got to sharpen your skills. You got to learn about weather, mechanics, carburetor, propellers, battery, fuel, you know, gravity, and turning the plane sharp and all that good stuff. And, you know, I always look at it as I wanted to fly. I wanted to go after it one way or another. And I did. And it taught me a personal lesson. Like, there's nothing hard, all right? There's nothing impossible. Everything you put your mind into it, you'll accomplish it. If it's not today, tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, 2 weeks or 2 months from now, all right? And I started to fly, and now I came to Albuquerque and I fly. I fly all the time. I fly over the Sandia Mountains. I flew the other side of Sandia Mountain that I've never seen before with all the ski, you know, strips right on the Sandia Mountain. I flew over the volcanoes, all right, the Black Volcanoes by Double Eagle. It's a great experience for me, all right? So let me back up also about how did I survive in Los Angeles? You know, when I got here, my parents were only able to send me another $700 at a time. All right, so it got me to 1 semester, all right, community college. So it was a big civil war. So my dad, I remember, called me and said, "Hey, kid, you have 2 choices, all right? Come back, all right, and we'll figure out together. But we can't send you more money. It's very hard. All the work stopped, business stopped. Or you can stay there and try to figure it out, and then if things get better, we'll send you more money." So I remember this old Kentucky Fried Chicken on Alasta Avenue, 902 Alasta Avenue. I still remember exactly where it is. And I said, let me put an application. all right? And then this young lady, very, very nice young lady, very pretty, working the counter, gave me an application, all right? And later I got the job and I started working. And 35 years later, been married to this young lady, all right, and have 5 kids later, all right? And she still makes fun of me how she had to train me how to make mashed potatoes at KFC, all right? But that was my story. It was my first job, and I was making $3.38 an hour, right? And $3.38 or $3.78, I can't remember. And you know, when I worked there for a year, I was a cook, and I worked at a gas station, and I went to community college at the same time. Now you look at it and say, "Oh my God, that's so hard." You know what? It's not hard. You're young, you can make it work, you can study all day long, all night long, doesn't matter. All right. I remember I used to sit in the dining room at KFC and study, right? After work or before work. And everything is possible. Honestly, everything's possible. I'm not saying it because it's cliche. It's not. Everything is possible. There are people go to the moon every other year, right? We can go to another state. We can go to college. It's not scary. And you know, and the restaurant business, it built me who I am, right? Because one thing cool about the restaurant business, they always have food. 2, all right, you work with a lot of people. So guess what? I met my wife at KFC. I have a lot of great friends from work, great friends from the restaurant industry. So, you know, here at Twisters, I work with 300 people, right? 300 people. Every day I meet different new people I have not met before. They work night, they work day, they go to college, they have a second job, they have husband, wife, they have kids, they have grandkids. They are from all parts of the world, right? And they're all from all parts of New Mexico. And it's a really cool thing, right? And so I told you I'm married, have 5 kids. I am actually proud to have 3 grandkids of 3 years and younger. So it's happening very fast. And then my daughter-in-law is now pregnant with number 4. So we're very, very excited. So let me talk to you a little bit about the restaurant business, all right? The restaurant business is one, and just like retail business, just like any working in a big company or big office, or you gotta work with people. If you think you're gonna do it all alone, doesn't work. If you can't get along with people, then you can't work in the people business, all right? So if you can click another page, please. And this is, by the way, my little Jordan. He's now 13 years old. We're flying in the fall over Rhode Island. Let me click one more. You know, when I was 15, 16, 17, and 18 years old, all right, I always was in Scout, Boy Scout, Girl Scout. I mean, you know, was combined at the time as well. And I always find it to be very important to give back, right? One thing happened to me when I came here to the US, I don't speak English very well, all right? I don't have any friends. I don't have mom and dad. I don't have any brothers and sisters. I don't have no cousins, no second cousin, no third cousin. I don't have any high school buddies, all right? Nothing, nobody, all right? Somebody lend me a hand. As simple as I can tell you that, right? Somebody gave me their hand and helped me many times. I can tell you many, many, many stories, right? So I find it critically important to give back, to go read for kids, give out food, go to a walk, go to a run, raise money. It's critical, it's important. That's what makes our country so unique and so amazing, all right? Because we all help each other. And that's why it is one of the most powerful countries in the world, right? Because we are not selfish. We are not only out for ourselves. We work in a community. So one more slide, and then I'm gonna end, and then really have a chat with questions and what have you. So this is my new Twisters team, right? So we have an amazing team, really, and that was my first couple of months, and we introduced a brand new burger for the first time, all right? And we had our first marketing campaign. I was so proud of it. And the burger called the Renegade, so we're all dressed up as country goofballs in a way, all right? And this was our first big campaign, all right? And we call it the Renegade, all right? And I have to tell you, it's a great, funny story because we doubled our burger sales with this campaign, We literally to the penny doubled our burger sales. And so that was my first experience in Twisters, right? And the cool thing about Twisters is we make everything from scratch. We make a green chili every single morning in every single store. A red chili every single store. We marinate all the meats, unlike any other company, here in our office in Albuquerque in the commissary, and get delivered 7 days a week to every store. So I'm very proud of it, very proud of our team. Also, we're remodeling and painting every one of our stores, giving them a facelift, getting the new look. I think the next slide will show you that new look a little bit. This is the new Twisters, all right? This is on One Tabo North. And it's amazing what a facelift does, and it brings energy, makes you proud of where you are and what you do. So let me click one more page because I am at 16 minutes exactly. I don't want Lindsay to beat me up. So I will tell you, this is in every email signature I have. And I live very aggressive with it, right? If you aim to be average, you're gonna be average. If you aim to be awesome, you will have more shots at it being awesome than anybody else. And one word I always use is awesomeness, all right? Every day I open the door in the office or walk into Twisters, I gotta bring energy. I gotta bring positive energy. I gotta make somebody's day. I gotta make somebody's, career happen. That's my job. That's my responsibility, all right? So I am not here to be average. I am here to be awesome. And I look at it every day. And it's so funny because when I send people emails and I forget it, this is my signature, 4, 5 out of 10 times they respond. They say, oh, I love your signature, all right? I love it too, all right? Because you gotta be awesome. Life is short. I told you 2 days ago I was in high school, all right? And now look at me, all right? I got gray hair, some hair left, but I have some gray hair. Life goes by like this. And one of my most influencer in life, I remember when I came here, my mom always told me, all right, is be somebody, all right? Make an impact, all right? Remember your last name, all right? And that stays with me all the time. You want to do the right thing, all right? Be yourself, be who you are, all right? So if you go to the next and maybe the final slide, Lindsay, thank you. These are the things that come to my mind. I don't have to think about. I really don't have. Like when I was writing this probably took me 1 minute to write, right? Be honest. You're not gonna do everything perfectly every time. Just be honest. It isn't. I must make a mistake. I didn't do this very well. I didn't think it through very well. There's nothing harm with it. Values, right? Work hard. Work hard is always the credit card to be successful, right? Have great friends. Why? Because life's short, all right? Have people that will uplift your spirit every time, care for you, right? Give back to the community. Community is a cornerstone in our country, in our city, in our state, in our life. Be an example. Nothing is free. Everything you have to go get, right? A new car, a new iPhone, a new computer, a new Mac does not come for free, right? I wish, but they don't come for free, all right? You gotta work hard for it. I love photography, all right? I love to capture a moment in life, right? Like that picture behind me. By the way, that picture is 5 feet long. This does not do justice. It's 5 feet long, all right? So it's 60 inches, all right? By 40 some inches. That dabble weighs 20 pounds, by the way, all right? I just wanna make sure you know, so you can make fun of me later. This is a small dabble. This is a huge dabble, all right? Anyway, so that's about me. I wanna take any question you wanna ask. And there are no difficult questions, none, all right? So Lindsay and anybody how it's gonna work, you're gonna jump in, by all means.
All right, thank you so much, Bahjat. So we're gonna move into the Q&A portion. I can start us off by one of the questions we had in the registration. And so the first question is, what is the secret to expansion in the restaurant industry?
Well, think about it for a second. That's a good question. We ask ourselves the question every day, obviously, all right? So we have 18 stores in Albuquerque. What made Twisters, have so many stores in Albuquerque in one city, all right? You have to have good food, you have to have good service, you have to have a clean place. They're connected at the hip. You lose one of them, it doesn't exist, all right? So think about it. Your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa make favorite dish, but they don't own a restaurant, right? So you have to have a favorite dish, you have to execute it very well, you have to run a clean place, and you have to have a happy, friendly service, authentic service, right? So if you can duplicate it, then you can open more. If you cannot duplicate it, you cannot open more, right? And so it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, because it takes a lot of people, all right? So when you open a new restaurant, you need 30, 40 people. You need $1 million in cash, all right? So you have to have enough faith in your execution ability and the team with you. You put a great general manager there, you get great employees, the rest is easy. I hope that makes sense.
That's excellent. Thank you. Question from the chat. Can you tell the story of how you got from California to Rhode Island?
So I was working in California for a bakery cafe out of Boston. And they sold the stores in Los Angeles, and somehow they liked me, I think. So they said, move to Boston, right? So it was me, my wife, and 4 kids at the time, and a dog. And they moved us to Boston. And I thought it was a great place. A lot of culture. I didn't like the snow as much. I don't ski or snowboard, but I love the seasons. I love the culture. I love the whole culture of New England. So I ended up in Boston. I worked downtown Boston for a long time. And then I moved to Rhode Island, just a little bit south of Boston, about 45 or so miles, and lived in my house there for 20 years. And I loved, sailing, boating, flying, all that I learned in New England, which is really, really cool.
Thank you. Question from the chat. What made you want to what made you want to be a pilot?
I don't know. I wish I know, but it is so thrilling. All right. I'm not a risk taker, by the way. I'm not like this literally renegade. I'm not. All right. But having the feeling of being above 3,000 feet, 5,000 feet, above water, above island, above bridge, above your house. All right. It's a really cool thing. And you know something else? It keeps you sharp. Right? It keeps you sharp. It gets my mind off of work, because you can only think of one thing in the plane. You got to think about the plane, all right? You can't be distracted, all right? Think about texting and driving. You can't do that in the plane, all right? You got to make sure you're turning, you're not going too fast, too slow, the nose is not up, nose is not down, but it's fun. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you thinking and moving your head continuously, not routine-like, all right? It's not routine-like. It's not like coming to work every single day doing the same thing, getting the same car, getting the same house, getting the same office. No, all right? So you get on the plane, the world changes, right? It shifts completely. So it's a great experience.
Excellent. Another question from the chat. What was it like to be born in the Civil War?
It's unfortunate, all right? It's really unfortunate. And, like my wife will talk, hey, I remember my prom, I remember this, I remember we renting a car. Like, I don't know what any of this stuff means, all right? Like, I never knew that, all right? Flowers and tuxedos and, some of the things like that, like, having a travel soccer tournament, having a football team, we didn't have any of that. Everything was on hold. Now they have it, all right? But, it's unfortunate, and I don't wish this on anybody. And I was fortunate enough to be able to escape it peacefully, right? It took me all these years, and I immigrated. My parents over here. My young brother, by the way, lives in Los Angeles. My young sister lived in Los Angeles. I only have one sister left in Lebanon, and she is waiting her immigration status as well. But I'm able to bring most of my family here. I have all my kids live here, so it's a really cool thing, Yeah.
Thank you. Question from the chat. What was the funnest thing you've done?
The funnest thing I've done. All right, so two things. All right, I am an outdoor nature wild animal photographer on the side. Okay, so I do it for the fun of it. The coolest thing I did, the fun being in Yellowstone. All right, I went to Yellowstone, so saw my first bison, saw my first antelope, saw my first the Grand Tetons just outside of Yellowstone. All right, and I saw a black bear. I have a great picture, very close-up picture of a black bear. So that was fun. The funnest thing I've done is the first time go over water for 40 miles from my airport to an island called Block Island, which is the island's only 10 miles off the coast of Rhode Island. And I remember my son, who is now 28 years old, but at the time he was 18, and I said, hey, come flying with me. And what do you think if we fly to Block Island? I was waiting for like, come on, Dad, you can do it. Yes, you can do it, all right? He's like, okay, that's it. So anyway, I ended up, pushing myself, and we flew to Block Island. We took a taxi, a nice restaurant. We had lobsters and fish tacos, and flew back. And that was the most exciting thing I've ever done. I remember us taking a selfie with the big airport sign that said Block Island. So I love that day.
Excellent. Question from the chat. What inspired your menu and restaurant? Did you ever consider a Lebanese restaurant?
Well, first, Twisters is inspired by New Mexican food, right? It is really, really unique, and I had to learn that, all right? I'm not from New Mexico, right? So I only been here 7 months. But, the green chili and the red chili, I didn't know a whole lot about. But as you know, that's our bread and butter, all right? And a handheld burrito in the morning with potatoes in it and green chili in it and eggs. So I didn't know that. And when you line up in the morning and you see 20 cars in the drive-through, all right, that's amazing, all right? So it's amazing. So we take a lot of pride in ourselves in making sure we make great, amazing New Mexican food. Lebanese food, I love Lebanese food. I made Lebanese food yesterday, but I love the New Mexican food. I love Mexican food, but the New Mexican food, the green chili, I can't get enough of it. So that is a winner in my book.
Excellent. You may have touched on this, but another follow-up question from the chat. How long have you lived in New Mexico?
Since July 19th. So what is that, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, something like that? Yeah, since July 19th. I took a couple of months off and went boating and sailing almost every day in Rhode Island. Then we drove cross country. We went to Oklahoma, went to Chicago, went to Iowa City. I had friends in Iowa City, I had friends in Chicago. We spent 2 days in Yellowstone and Grand Teton. I went to Denver. From Denver, came to Albuquerque, and I've been here since.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Another question from the registration. What one piece of advice would you give to a graduating senior if they want to follow some sort of career in the food industry?
2 words. Well, 2.5 words. Hard work and authentic. Authentic. Be yourself. Be who you are. You can change yourself, all right? You can fake it, all right? But that's not who you are. That's not going to get you places. People that meet me, they always tell me this. Like, I've known you for a long time. I said, okay, that's great. That's what I want, all right? Because we want to know each other right away so we can start working on things and having fun, all right? But being authentic, being real, being yourself, being your own identity, being your own character, all right? That's what I mean by authentic. Hard work is not like crazy hard work, but you have to be able to work hard to take care of your job and create opportunity for yourself, all right? Yes, otherwise you don't enjoy the big things you want in life, right? Because again, I believe strongly nothing comes in for free. You got to go after it.
Thank you. Question from the chat. What is your education?
So I came to the United States, believe it or not, and don't laugh at me, people, all right, to be a computer programmer or computer science, all right? And I barely know how to turn on my own computer, okay? So Thank God now I have enough practice in Zoom to use Zoom, all right? But I didn't like it really, it was not for me, all right? So I ended up in business and I went to community college and got my degree in community college and I didn't go any further. I wish I did. I got too consumed with all the fun things I was having in the restaurant business and being married and have 4 kids. But I am proud to say that I have all my kids, I have 4 out of 5 with bachelor's degree or more, and my 13-year-old working on his.
Excellent, thank you. I want to give anybody a chance to unmute, so we'll just take a second and see if there's anyone who'd like to ask a question unmuted.
Don't be shy. There's no difficult questions and there's no big questions. Any question, every question is good. See, what I have on you guys, the only thing I have on you is age. I only have more years under my belt. So years teaches you a lot, all right? So, you know, I try to learn from all these years and how to become better every day, all right? So please ask any question you want.
Doesn't seem like there's any brave souls right now. So we'll go into one of our final questions. And so what is the best advice you've ever received?
You know, I gotta think about it. That's a good question. I think the best advice is treat people with respect and dignity, honesty and values, right? You know, sometimes you can yell at somebody, you get what you want for the minute. You can get a fight with somebody and you feel better. An hour later, you're not gonna feel better, right? It doesn't last. You know, you can insult somebody and feel better. You can shout at somebody and feel better. You can cut somebody off on the road. You can shout at somebody in school. You can shout at somebody that, you know, they're not gonna yell back, right? It's not cool. Make you cool for about 3 seconds, honestly, all right? Same thing at work. I can walk into somebody's office here and yell at them to get more things done, but that's not inspiring, all right? They're gonna do it for 30 seconds, and after that, they're gonna be demotivated, unhappy, unexcited about anything, all right? So that means I gotta be yelling all the time to get things done, and that's not the goal. That doesn't accomplish anything. You inspire people. You say, I want you to do this. I can do this. We can do this together. I'll help you. You'll help me. And we get 10 times further in this race, all right? Because remember, my mom always told me, life goes by in a blink of an eye. My mom always, she still tells me that. She still tells me that now, all right? Life goes by in a blink of an eye. So you choose, all right? And you gotta choose wisely because you don't get to blink twice, all right? You only live once. So you gotta live it to the fullest, all right? You wanna create opportunity, have enough money to have fun, and at the same time, you wanna live your life. You can go out, you go hiking, you go fishing, you go flying. How you gonna do all this? You can't do it not being nice to people, all right? You gotta do it for being really authentic, be yourself, be the character everybody looks up to. Be an example. I hope that makes sense, guys.
That's excellent, Bahjat. Thank you so much. We're gonna wrap up to be respectful of everyone's time. So thank you so much, Bahjat, for your time, and students who are on the call and educators. Thank you for being here. But before we log off, please just remember to complete our post-program mindset survey. It's a very easy way to win a gift card potentially, so please fill that out. Those really help us keep track of the impact of this program, and so teachers on the calls, please stress that. That's very huge. And so thank you to all of our generous partners who donated gift cards, Bahjat as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And lastly, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
And lastly, please join us next week as we welcome our final speaker before spring break. And we will be welcoming Brennan Rigler, who is the president of Albuquerque Florist and Albuquerque Flower Market. And he's also the owner of B&T Communities. And so that will be our speaker next week. And then the next week will be off for spring break. So thank you so much, Bahjat, and to everyone on the call. And we'll see you all next week.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye, Bahjat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really wonderful, really inspiring. I really like that.